I've come up with a way to totally eradicate this whole idea of rejection in sales. If it's over at hello, how the heck are you going to succeed in selling? You've got to rise above that and change your mindset.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our next episode. This episode of the Stump the Guru Show. My name is Ari Galper, and I specialize, as you might know, in trust-based selling. Been doing this for 20 years now. I can't believe it. The same exact niche for a long, long time, and I'm so glad to be here. If you're new to the show, this is a chance to bring me your toughest sales challenge live here and get some free coaching, consulting, new ideas, new perspectives to go back and implement right away. We usually have a long list of people who come into this call to grab my attention. We only have about 20, 30 minutes. So those who come in first will be first in the queue. And today's theme, by the way, you can ask whatever question you'd like, but I like to choose a theme if I can every month. And today's theme, as you probably saw in the posts, is the concept of objections, how we're taught to typically overcome them. And our usual response is fight or flight. We've been trained by the traditional gurus and sales processes in the past. When we get people giving us resistance, we have to overcome the resistance. But our whole trust-based sales approach is all about diffusing resistance and re-engaging again. And if you have some of the questions today about your objections, I'll give you some of our trust-based languaging and some of our approaches for how we go about diffusing objections. And so that's the theme of the show today. Again, this is all about you and me helping you create new ideas to execute in your process to get a result. If you'd like to have a one-on-one private chat with me, the link's at the bottom there. Just go to unlockthegame.com/free consult. Apply there, and we'll have a chat privately. But other than that, this is your chance to stump the guru, as I say, for fun. And if you want to catch the episodes from the past shows, just go to unlockthegame.com. At the top, it says Stump the Guru, and you can see the previous episodes. And we have great feedback on this show because not many people are willing to go live without a net and do live sales consulting like this without any preconceived notions. So let's get started. My co-host Steve is in the background there, getting everybody lined up in the green room to jump on in and get their questions answered. So, Steve, who do we have first to go?
All righty. Hey, what's happening, everybody? We are ready to rock. We've got a bunch of people lined up. And first off is going to be Jerry. Jerry's going to come on right now, and he's going to let you know a little bit more about himself. He should be popping his camera on any second now. And it looks like it's still black. Yeah, your camera's still black, though. You need to click on the little icon. Should be down there.
I have a stop cam.
There should be a start. Oh, we're getting
almost there. Why don't we pull him back in once he's got the camera working, and we'll
sure, no worries. All right, so Jerry, we'll give you a couple of minutes to get sorted. If you want, you can. I'll send you my email, and I'll try to help you offline while we keep things going.
Thank you.
All right, no worries. All righty, so up next we have Bob Kerr. So I'm going to bring Bob on. Hey, Bob, how are you today? And Bob's going to tell us his problem and stump the guru.
Doing just fine. How's everybody there?
Hey, Bob, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Ari?
Good. Look, maybe share with the audience a bit about what you do and your background and, your question today.
Okay, well, I'm in digital marketing, which can kind of fairly broad scope of what we do, websites and stuff, but digital display advertising is kind of what I approach this company about. And we're able to really effectively target their correct audience and stuff. But I got a couple of objections from them. One, geez, your price is really high. And of course, the first instinct is always to say, compared to what or those types of things. And then the second one, they said, well, we don't have the budget right now. And I'm going, it's March 22nd, but I guess people do have the different times of year that they do their budgets up.
Right.
Those are kind of the two that I've run across.
Those are pretty classic ones that most people who are out in the field are hearing a lot, especially now that we're living more in a commoditized world. where the customer can't discern between the best choice for them. So they assume it's apples to apples, and they believe they're shopping for the same thing to everyone. And they typically use these objections to kind of, make you negotiate or respond. So let's go through each one of those. The first one you said to me is your price is too high. And that's a classic one. And typically when we get that from the old mindset, our response is to defend ourselves, explain why we're better, why we're worth it, or else come up with a classic response with, well, you pay for what you get for, or what were you thinking? And, what would be work for you? And then we either defend ourselves, fight, or we flight, we pull back, we try to negotiate down. Because all we know to do when we for resistance is either overcome it or pull away from it. And then we get stuck. But remember, our goal, our process is to always be building trust with people and always diffuse the pressure throughout the entire conversation. So here's how we handle this. This comes right from our materials and programs. When someone says your price is too high, what we say is this. We say, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Now there's more, don't worry, just hang in there. You're absolutely right. And here's the operative word. It can be perceived as high if you haven't had a chance to actually go out and use our solution to get the result. And you're right, from the outside in, it appears that way. But would you be open to a different perspective or some different ideas on how we can address your issues, build a case for this to make sure you're getting an ROI to help you justify that? Would you be open to that? So what I did there was I diffused and I re-engaged. You see, if you try to overcome it, you immediately break the relationship that you're trying to build there. You break that trust, and now they're in the game with you. And we're trying to unlock this game and break out of it so they can feel that we're not going to defend ourselves, but we're trying to connect with them. Now, the other one you said, Bob, was one around the budget, which is also a classic 101, which people hear a lot. They hear it in terms of we don't have the money or we don't have the budget. And the typical response to that is, what is the typical response? How would you respond to that if someone says to you, not the RE material, but how would you pre-RE respond to that if someone says to you, we don't have the budget?
Well, I guess one of my first questions would be, well, when is your budget, good till, or when is your budget available again to look at, new spending, I guess.
Right. So we typically work off of what they say. So what I would have say in this approach here with our model is, if someone says to you, we don't have the budget. And first of all, we don't know what the truth is behind that. One, maybe they do, maybe they don't. Two, maybe it's a way to get you off the phone. Three, who knows? We don't even know. It could be a smoke screen for lots of things, right? Our goal here is to get to the truth, so we know where we stand. So in this case, if someone says we don't have the budget, what I might say is this. I might say, most of our clients don't have a preset budget for this, because budgets are typically for things that people already know and already use. When they're using new purchases, they have to kind of justify something new. Would you be open to us figuring out a way to build a business case for this, to see what the return on investment is, so it makes you can easily justify getting funds for this? Would you be open to that? So I'm not accepting their premise in the process, because I know it could be a smokescreen. I don't know the truth. What I'm trying to get to is, one, is it a priority? Two, are they serious about this? And three, if it is, can they get the funding to solve the problem that they have? Because so many of us get stuck in that we don't have the budget. And now we're like, oh, shoot, I don't have the budget. Now what do I have to do? So I just consider those ideas and try those, Bob, and see how we go, okay?
Terrific. Thanks, Ari.
Thanks for coming on.
Okay, if you're new to the Stump the Guru show, welcome. We're now live. This is my once-a-month show where people can jump in around the world to ask me live sales questions based upon a trust-based mindset, a different approach that you might be used to. And what we find is people who come and work with us or talk to us in this format leave with new ideas, new answers, new solutions they don't usually get at work
or get in traditional books or get anywhere else other than here at this live show. So Steve, who do we have next in the queue?
Sure. Well, the next person coming up can't say that he's a first-time caller. So I'm going to bring on Antonio Kenyatta. What's up, Antonio? How's my fellow New Yorker doing? Holding down the East Coast here. And
terrific
today. So I'm going to bounce and let Antonio take it over.
Antonio, welcome. Good to see you again. I'm glad to have you back.
Thank you, Ari. So I guess do I need to say anything about myself, or should we just jump into it?
Look, let people know what you do briefly, and then
Sure.
just end your question. No problem.
Sure. Again, Antonio Kenyatta. I'm a financial advisor, and I target those in the medical field. And so my question to you, Ari, is sort of twofold. I got sort of an outline that I want to run by you and get your response to either or situation. So the scenario is Dr. A has referred me to Dr. B.
Okay.
And he says, call him, let him know I referred you.
Okay.
And so, and then the second, so I want to get your response on, generally I'm getting, he's in a meeting and can I get your information?
Sure.
And I have those something. Then the next thing I like to just get your feedback on is, assuming I get Dr. B on the phone, I have a sort of an outline of what I'd like to say to him and sort of get your critique on both of those.
Sure. Sure. Well, let's back up for a second here.
Sure.
Let's start from the beginning. So you always, you know me, I like to go back to the original source of the question. So you're saying that one doctor refers you to another doctor, and he says, "Here's his number. Give him a call."
Correct.
So I'd stop right there and say to the doctor that the referring source. I'd say,
Okay.
would you be open to dropping him a note, maybe an email or a voicemail, to let him know in advance that I'll be calling,
Okay.
so that he's not surprised by my conversations. We don't know each other yet. Would you be open to that?
Awesome.
So have him build the bridge first. Otherwise,
Right.
it's still a cold call because
Yeah.
he's not expecting the call. So that's the first thing I do to warm up that lane all the way through.
Okay. Great.
Then from there, when you do make that call, you can say, hi, John, it's Antonio here. I believe Chris may have given you a call, dropped you a note, that I'll be giving you a call around some of these issues I might be able to provide you some insights on.
Okay. And then, and in that scenario, so I've gotten 2 referrals, and I've reached out to. I didn't do what you said at first, but I will go back to that.
Sure.
And I get, I get the assistant, and they I'm assuming they try to get the doctor because they come back after a couple of minutes, and I just say, okay, well, thank you for the generosity of the time. Dr. A referred me to him. My name is Antonio, and here's my telephone number. Is that?
Wait,
if I don't.
When is this? When is leaving with the front desk? Even before you get a hold of the
Yeah.
doctor?
Yeah. So I called and I didn't get a hold of him, but I got the assistant, and so she said, "Can I get your information?" So that's.
Oh no. So
Okay.
when you get to the receptionist, what you say is this: I'm hoping you can help me out for a moment.
Yeah. Okay.
Dr. A referred me and suggested I speak to Dr. B. I work with Dr. A on blah blah blah. Would you be helpful enough to arrange a conversation between him and I?
Okay.
So you're working to schedule an appointment, not to get
Yes.
a hold of them right there on the spot,
Okay.
right? Because they might be with a patient or something, and then
Yes.
you're back to where you started from the beginning. So
Right.
use the referral as a way to schedule a conversation with him
Okay.
because of the referral. If that makes sense.
Okay. That's great. Okay. That's perfect. And so, assuming I get that meeting, that appointment with the doctor, I kind of had hi, Dr. A, my name's Antonio, and I was hoping you could help me out for a moment. I was referred to you by Dr.
X suggested that I give you a call because I'm working with him on X, Y, and Z, and he thought you may have similar issues.
Okay.
Are you experiencing the same issues as Dr. A? You got to
Yeah.
anchor the conversation on the problem, not on what you do,
Okay.
not what you offer, not what you sell. You got to
Right.
anchor it around the problem that Dr. A has or the problem that you help doctor solve. So you got to word the opening word. Are you experiencing X, Y, and Z in your office or whatever you do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and so I guess the only little caveat or twist to it is that both the two referrals are people in position over, one's over a residency program and the other's over a national organization. And so doctors say, hey, these people are very influential and can get you in front of either the residents or the national organization. So that's the angle I'm trying to go for.
That's different. That's you attempting to get across lots of people.
Yes,
I think, right?
through Dr. B.
Okay, so it's like a 3 hops, not 2 hops.
Correct. So
it's
Dr. A referred him to Dr. B, who's
source
over.
to B and B to a whole bunch of people.
Correct.
Okay, so that would change a little bit on languaging, where you'd say, Dr. A referred me to you because he felt that your members or colleagues might find it helpful to have some insights around how to solve these problems.
Okay.
Do you think your members would find this helpful? That's how you bridge that lane.
Okay.
All right.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Ari.
Great to see you, my friend. Anytime. Come on back soon. Take care. Okay. Thank you. See you soon. Welcome everyone back to the Stump the Guru show. We're doing a live Q&A right now around the world. If you have a sales challenge, a sales issue, a sales objection, anything holding you back. If you have something you're chasing right now in your pipeline, you can't get a hold of on the phone. You have an email just came in, you're not sure how to respond. Anything you have right now where you're stuck, this is your chance to get an instant answer to apply right to your situation, implement it, and get a result. That's how fast things can happen for you if you're open to asking questions and getting insights. My name is Ari Galper, again with Trust-Based Selling. If you want to have a one-on-one chat with me offline, privately, there's a link on the screen here to go to do that. Other than that, we'll see who else might be waiting in the wings here who might want to ask me a question. Steve, anyone else back there who's in line?
Yes, we've got a decent house. So next up, Jerry's camera issues have been fixed, and he's making his grand return. Here we go. Hey, Jerry, how's it going? If you could tell everybody in the universe here who you are, what you're all about, and then your question for Ari.
Sure bet. I'm in the personal lines property casualty business. That's auto and home and toys, motorcycles, all of that sort of thing. I'm in the States, and we're experiencing some dramatic inflation. For instance, the value of used cars, people are buying cars. People are trading in used cars for more than what they paid for them.
Yeah, I'm actually aware of that situation. Yeah.
And there's also a lot of trouble with getting parts. The parts are way more expensive. And so the inflationary environment is transitioning my business. And we need to do something a little bit different than we have before. Insurance rates from all of the different companies are bouncing around. You never really know where you stand. Where in prior situations, we'd make a phone call to a lead and we'd offer a comparison quote. And when we do that now, a lot of times we're higher. Now that will change over time. But right now, I need to change what my people are saying and flip it more towards value than price.
Okay.
But I don't know how to say that. Could you help me with a little bit of a script there?
Okay, so we'll give you some languaging around that and some conceptual ideas around this. So what you want to do is when you make those calls, you want to let them know, once you introduce yourself, explain where you're from, you want to let them know up front that your firm will never be the cheapest option in the marketplace, because the cheaper options always have to cut corners and you lose opportunity. And then once the day comes when you need insurance, you get in trouble. So you're always, so basically the message, you're taking the high ground here. So you have to kind of let them know in advance that you're not the cheapest, but you have to give them a reason why. The reason why is other providers are offer cheaper and cheaper options, often have to cut corners to afford to do that. So we let you know in advance, and you have to ask first. You have to say this: are you okay with that? You have to first sell the idea of you not being the cheapest. And you have to say, are you okay with that? Because certain people are okay with that. Certain people are not okay with that. That's how you divide out who's a fit and who's not a fit right from the beginning of the phone call. Otherwise, what happens is you get a live person on the phone, you go to pricing and get stuck in the whole race to the bottom conversation.
That's exactly right.
Right. It's probably happening to your people right now on the phone call because they're being pulled on a black hole around, you're not the cheapest one. I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
So what you do is you frame it from the beginning as a filter system. So those who react as you want them to react are the ones you work with. The ones who react the opposite are the ones you disengage with. You have to be the one to select them. They're not the ones to select you. And also, you want to get out of the quote business. What I mean by that is you don't want to use the word quote ever again, or comparative price, or like that. You just talk about their unique needs and why you believe you're best for them. If that makes sense.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jerry. Good to see you and talk to you soon. Welcome back. Happy to have you back again. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. So welcome back to Stump the Guru. We're live, getting questions here from all over the industries, from insurance to financial advisory services. Just been doing this for 20 years across every industry in the world. I've consulted and coached thousands of entrepreneurs, owners of companies, professionals in sales. So I've heard most scenarios, but I'm always waiting for someone to stump the guru. So do we have someone else, Steve, back there who's up for the challenge to bring me their next challenge?
We have, but wait, there's more. Like Billy Mays. We've got Dan coming on, so I'm going to bring on Dan, and Dan's going to tell you a little bit about himself, what his business is, and then his question for you.
Great. Come on in, Dan.
Hey, Ari. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
I got your Unlock the Game in 2004.
Really?
And when it was the CDs. And
wow.
Yeah. And I loved what you were saying then, and re-stumbled on you on LinkedIn just recently, and I saw a video. I'm a coach, and I saw a video where you were talking about coaching and how I do discovery calls, and you in this discovery call, it's revealed what you called it was the iceberg. And when you said it in this video, I'm going like, yeah, but what are the questions to get to the bottom of the iceberg? It's and to get the truth. And they'll come in all different kinds of ways, but are there questions that nail it down, focus it down to the truth in a real honest way, that's effective? And maybe is it the same every time, or how do you think about that?
Okay, great question. By the way, this is the core of my new book coming out hopefully later on this year, called The One Call Sale, which is a new level of system I created recently with my clients on how to compress the sales cycle into one conversation. So the iceberg is one piece of that process, and the iceberg is the beginning part of the conversation where your job is to peel the onion back to really go deep around their problems. Because as you know, typically when we have a first call with somebody, they give us what I call service level issues, just basic problems at the top of the iceberg that they want us to kind of provide answers for. But really the goal is not to go forward towards a solution. The goal is to amplify the issue, to have them own the issue and make sure it's a priority before you go to the next step. So here are the questions you ask to begin to go down the iceberg. Okay, let's just assume it's a Zoom call, for instance, with a lead. You're a coach. First call, they're a business owner. They're on the Zoom call with you. You say hello, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well. And here's how you begin. By the way, there's no chit chat after that. No relationship building, no side talk, no how's the weather, how's New York, nothing like that. Straight into this question, because you're the doctor, they're the patient. Here's what you say. You say, ask permission. If it's okay with you, can we take a step back for a moment? And can you walk me a bit through your background, your story, your current business model, and your challenges that you're working on right now? And we'll go from there. Would you be okay with that? You start there, which puts the ball in their court. Then they start telling you about their situation, their problems. What would be one classic problem that you would hear from someone that you would imagine hearing from your classic?
Can't get good help.
Okay, can't get good staff, right?
All right.
So here's what you'd say to begin going down the iceberg under that problem. You'd say this. You say, can you tell me a little bit more about that? You just sit there and you wait to let them begin to unpack and describe what they mean by that. And then believe it or not, they will just start talking. They'll start telling you, well, I got bad people, whatever. Then you're going to say this. Next question is this. How long has it been a problem for? Next question. What have you done so far to try and fix this? Next question. What has been the impact to you and your business by not being able to solve this problem? Last question. Is this a priority for you to finally address and solve once and for all? Or is something you're happy to address later on down the road? And I'm okay either way. Those are the levels of the basic questions to peel back and unpack and go to the bottom of the iceberg. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
What do you think about those?
Yeah, they've been used on me. When I'm looking for coaching or help in that way, and they make a lot of sense.
Well, when you go to a doctor and you say to them, my shoulder hurts, he says, let me take a look. Or he said, you need an x-ray right away. So I can see behind the problem. I can understand how to fix it. Because if I can't diagnose the problem, I can't write you a prescription. See, in coaching and sales, what we do is we say, oh, you got a staffing problem? Our brain goes, perfect, he's qualified. I can help you with that. I've got a coaching model. I've got ideas. I've got a 1 hour session. We go right into solution mode. And it's over right there. You break trust. So we might want to talk offline one-on-one about this, but we can map this thing out for you with a roadmap that lays out exactly where to take the call so you don't do free consulting, free coaching, overeducate, and at the end get, I want to think about it, which is typical what coaches usually get after their initial call.
Right. One of the things that I've been trying to manage in these discovery calls is to get down to a more of an emotional level, to get deeper than, like I just can't find good help and it's all blah, 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 like what does it, kind of like, how does that affect, like what are the ways to make an emotional connection? Because like I sell other things too. And when I can make an emotional connection, it's sold every single time.
Well, it's not just about making them emotional. It's about you having empathy for them and them feeling that from you. You have to emanate this feeling, which is authentic, of you actually caring for them. This isn't just a process. This is truly you having the bedside manner and empathy like a doctor who cares about the patient and wants to solve their problem. And if I heard your recordings of your calls, I need to hear what you're saying, but it could be that you're going through questions, but they're not feeling the love from you. They're not feeling this sense of you being in their world with them and feeling what they feel. So a lot of this is not just about what questions to ask. A lot of this is about getting out of your world and going into their world and staying in there as long as you can until they say to themselves, man, this guy just gets me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when you meet someone at a party, you say to yourself, gosh, she's got my number. He understands me at such a deep level. He's my guy. He's the guy I need. I don't care how much he charges. See, people will pay you a much higher fee, a premium fee, if you're the one that connects with them at a deep level. If it's just a rote conversation, hey, nice to meet you, what are your problems? Then it ain't happening.
Right.
And that's where you're losing them right there on those conversations.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that's it. Really is. And the sales calls that I have had been a part of where they were selling me, the ones that really worked were the ones that I said, yeah, that guy gets me. That guy asked me questions and got so deep, you know, and it's like, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because you're so intuitively and subconsciously, you know what makes it work, but consciously you're not doing it.
Right.
That's the transformation you have to make. It's the mindset shift that we have to work on to get you to shift away from your old things, your behaviors you're doing now that don't feel right to them. Because you're caught between two worlds, the way you've been taught to sell or how you've been selling and what your intuition tells you is right. And that's the bridge we have to make so you're fully authentic with people and they can feel that you're not trying to move them to a next step anymore. You're just trying to be with them at a level that no one else has ever been before. And that's how you differentiate yourself over any other coach in the marketplace, is by your approach, not your solution.
Right.
Because as you know, coaching has become commoditized. A coach is a coach is a coach, right? Everyone on LinkedIn is a coach. So you can't distinguish yourself. Here's the funny thing, and we'll end on this. They can't appreciate your value until after they're a client. Because when they're a client and they're paying you, you're doing your work, right? But before they're a client, it's not about value because they can't appreciate it. It's about deep trust. And that's the distinction most people who sell don't understand. They're trying to sell their value, educate, their program. But the prospect's not thinking about that. They're thinking about, do I trust him right now? And that's what you have to address to make this whole thing work. So hopefully that's helpful for you.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Great to have you back in the fold again. Reach out and say hello, okay?
I will. Thanks.
Take care. All right, bye-bye. Steve, who else do we... welcome back, by the way, to Stump the Guru. We got on a roll there. And I love very complex, challenging scenarios. Wherever you're stuck right now in your process, I most likely have an answer for you, given my 20 years of doing this for a long time. But it's based on a trust-based perspective, not based on a typical sales model. So, Steve, anyone else we have out there in the wings?
Yes, let's see if he gets his camera on. We've got Mark Kennedy. Let's see, Mark, if you get your camera up. Yep, he's got his camera up. Let's bring Mark on. Hey, Mark, long time, my friend.
Hey,
how you been?
Good to see you. I know, right?
You're looking good, man.
Hey,
You're looking
long
good.
time no talk. It's been, what, 2 hours, I think, since our coach.
Yes.
I'm going to leave the two of you to ask your question and keep on going.
Yeah, so, you know, I just wanted to say, too, for all the people that are listening to this, I've had an incredible experience with Ari over the last probably 13 months. We've been working together, and he's really transformed the way that I'm a financial advisor. And so we've had to go mainly virtual with everybody over this last couple of years due to COVID. And so it's really about reprogramming my language. And Ari has definitely taught me a lot of stuff that I otherwise would not have known. I realized how terrible I actually was before I met Ari. And now I do feel a lot more prepared and a lot better. But I still, what really is nagging me, and I know we had a conversation about it today, is I think the other gentleman, a couple before, had said it. So the problem I've been having is we get down to the roadmap that we prepared together, and we go through the roadmap with the person. And the problem that I always get is, oh, you know what? We're looking for 2 or 3 other advisors. I got 3 or 4 meetings set this week, and then we'll get back to you. So after I go through the roadmap, I've already presented the fee. How do I line them up back on another call to get them to talk again so that we can solidify that on the calendar so that, yeah, if you want to go and explore the 2 or 3 other people, great, but let's have a conversation about it. I mean, how would you position that and what's the best way that you would do that?
So does that come up at the end? Interesting.
It's been coming up a lot.
Okay, okay. So what I might say is this. If that comes up, that's resistance. We're
Right.
looking at two other people. I might say this. I might say, may I ask, what is your number one criteria that's most important to you that you feel is a requirement to find the person you want to work with? What is that one thing? See, that stops the whole thing, Mark, and it puts the light, shining lights on the light on them, spotlight, to have them think about what is it that they're really wanting someone. That's not an easy answer because they think they're just shopping around. I'm shopping, having calls, getting information. But when you ask that profound question, what is the one thing, most important thing that will make the difference for you on the person you're looking for? I would love to hear that answer from them. God, would that be so interesting to hear that answer? Because hopefully it's something around someone we can trust, because that's what this is all about. And if it's something else, well, guess what? You'll learn something there that's missing in the conversation. So it's not about trying to book them to the next session. It's about get to the truth behind that smokescreen of we're looking at 2 other people. So as you know, our whole approach here is to stop the momentum, stop everything, call out what's not clear so you know where you stand at the moment. And that will bring out a lot of things you wouldn't have known before. And I honestly, that would be the most interesting thing to hear what they say. In fact, try that. Let's hear what they say, because we can learn a lot from that.
So whatever their answer is, how do you then position it from there in order to?
Okay, so whatever their answer is, I'd say that I really appreciate that. Is there something that I'm missing from today's conversation that you're missing from me that you need to meet that criteria? We're searching for the gap, Mark. We got to find out what is it that they need to say yes now. Why the shopping trip? Why haven't they chosen the other 2 people before you? You see, if we know that criteria, then you can say, do the other folks have that? I guess not, because that's why you're still here, right? Like, I'd rather address it right there and then. And then we'll take it from there based upon what you hear from people. But I guess the big idea here is call them out in a nice way that engenders a conversation to learn more about what's on their mind.
So versus having to chase them now after the call, because let's say they don't make a decision now on that call and we still ask them that question, what's the best way to go ahead and to get them?
Well, you ask them the question, they give you the answer, you bond and say, is there anything I could do to close that gap for you? They tell you whatever, and there's a moment of bonding there when you ask that question, by the way, because it's very profound. Once they give it to you and you feel like you have some mending there, then you say this, you say, would you be open to us scheduling another conversation so I can answer your final questions, be available to you, because I typically work only by appointment only. We don't follow up with people. We don't chase people. We want to be there for them to give them their full attention. Would you be open to that? There'll be some respect in that, Mark, if you say it that way.
Okay.
And it's just the tone that you're not going to chase them as well.
All right.
And I bet you no one else is holding that either,
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Cool. Good to see you, Mark.
All right. Good to see you. Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right, welcome back to Stump the Guru. Got some interesting questions coming in from all different folks, the clients, people on LinkedIn who found me just right now live, people around the world who jump in. People do come in a lot to get some answers, and you're here for that. Do we have anyone left out there, Mark? Steve, who wants to jump in and ask me a final question?
Well, as the medium lady in the movie The Poltergeist said, this stream is clean. It's we're good. We've had a great audience today, and we're done for today. So we're ready for you to close on out.
Great. So thank you all for coming to our Stump the Guru show. If you want to have a one-on-one consultation with me, complimentary, the link is right there at the bottom of the screen, unlockthegame.com/free consult. We can talk through your sales process, put an x-ray machine on it, and identify where the holes are, give you some ideas to pack everything up and get out to the market again and get back on track. So thank you for coming to the show today. We'll see you next time. Ari Galper signing off. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.
I've come up with a way to totally eradicate this whole idea of rejection in sales. If it's over at hello, how the heck are you going to succeed in selling? You've got to rise above that and change your mindset.